What's up, America? Good morning, or afternoon, or whenever you watch this. If you watch this, um, how's it going? Things are going pretty good for me. Just got off a weekend coming off the Cubs convention, which is pretty dope. Got to see all my friends, all my work friends, all the some new faces on the team, some old faces. A lot of faces, so many faces. Always a good time at the Sheridan. Really hectic night of bingo. Got really ratchet. I didn't play, I just watched for like 3 hours. It's pretty nuts. Anyway, that was fun, and still managed to get 6 days of training in, even though I worked a couple of days, basically for 10 hours at a time. Um, so yeah, 6 training days. I wanted to get 7 in, and I noticed. So this is what I noticed throughout the week, is that um, training full body every day, even though I was using a little bit lower intensity on lower body work with the blood flow restriction, um, I started dropping weight midweek pretty quick. On the overall week average basis, I still gained a little, like less than half a pound of muscle. But actually, let me pull that number up. So in this week, which has been 7 full weeks now, which is pretty awesome. The time started flying by after those first couple of weeks. So yeah, I dropped a full pound, over a pound, 1.3 pounds on the scale. Added zero point 0.2 pounds of muscle, but did manage to lose a pound and a half of fat, which is good. I mean, obviously. Um, but I noticed right around midweek, switching to daily training right around, so this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. From Wednesday all the way through the rest of the week, my scale went with. And then I took an off day on Saturday um, in order to get some more work done before I go to my other job. So I didn't eat nearly as much, and I just wrote an article about why that's the case, why you should eat less when you don't train. Um, and I wanted to train every day, but even especially after um, that day, I went from 178 to 175 on the scale um, after cutting my calories for not training. But then also, while I was working, I was walking everywhere. So at the convention, I walked, I think, um, 10 miles, either total or per day. I'm not sure, but that's like way more. I don't walk. So that's way more than I'm used to, way more um, like passive energy expenditure than is in these logs or is indicative of like a week to week basis. Um, so yeah, that toyed with things a little bit. So what I'm gonna do, and I noticed my strength was kind of across some exercises it was still going up, but on a couple others, especially the heavier type compound stuff, it was mostly stagnant. So here's the plan. Still going to train every day because frequency will be fine. Um, Still playing with the idea of making my legs only blood flow restriction work. I know for sure that leg extensions and leg curls will be. I'm trying to see how well that would apply to 45-degree hip extension, because maybe if I could do that with blood flow restriction, because I really do like that exercise, and I feel like that gives me some good rehab work for my back, good blood flow for the area, and just strengthen the musculature around where the damage is. So I'm going to see if that is applicable with BFR, and then front squats with BFR is is pretty painful. So I'm probably going to keep doing that, but with being that low intensity as BFR is, you could afford to schedule it later in the workout. So this will allow me a good chunk of time here to prioritize my upper body and really progress on those movements. I'm going back to it, excuse me, every 2 out of 3 days format. So say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it'll be like chest, chest, off, chest, chest, off. You get the picture. Not every single day, every single muscle group, because I still have a little bit of time to close that gap between. I'm sure you've heard me talk of genetic potential and your training status in relation to that, and I'm getting closer, um, but I'm not quite at the point yet where my recovery is good enough for me to train daily without seeing any drop off in performance. Train every body part daily. I will say getting in the gym every day is no problem. So yeah, that's for training. 2 out of every 3 days. Still trying to get in there every day of the week. Blood flow restriction, blah blah blah. Diet wise, going really well. That's gross. Sorry, I don't know why I do that. So this week coming up, I'm bumping up the carbs slightly. Training every day allows me to get in my fat target really easily. So I'll be having just under 130 grams of fat per day, just over, well, actually 320 grams of carbs per day, which is by far the highest I've been utilizing. Yeah, the previous high was this week, which was 250 per day on average. So bumping it up 70 grams. And this is a function of me getting leaner over time. Um, as that occurs, you can likely afford to not only increase your carbs, but also drop your protein a little bit because, well, in sequence, carbs, your carb tolerance will likely improve as your body composition improves because your ability to utilize nutrients, nutrient partitioning improves as you get leaner. It's kind of a function of leanness. And so that will give you a little bit higher of a ceiling in terms of how you can push your carbs. And then in terms of protein, you could probably even afford to reduce it over time and pair it with how your body mass is decreasing. Because not only is your body mass decreasing, and that's what you base your protein target off of, but your body also gets much more efficient at metabolizing protein in a deficit, which I am still in, clearly, if I'm losing weight. So that's a pro tip for you guys. As you get leaner, you could probably afford to increase your carbs and decrease your protein a little bit. We're not talking about like 100-gram jumps anywhere. In terms of carbs, I'm talking about like 20 to 50 gram increments. In terms of protein, I'm talking about like 2 to 5 gram increments. We're not talking about major, like, oh, yeah, just cut your protein in half. So, yeah, it looks like I will be getting in the gym every day of the week and eating quite a bit of calories, which is great. So for this week ahead, I'll be having just over 3,000 per day. And when they're like, oh, I got to diet down on 3,000 calories, it's not a big deal. It's actually pretty awesome. And yeah, just a lot of stuff going on this week. Wednesday, I sit for my NASM exam, so I got to study a little bit between now and then. Hopefully I could get that because then it's accredited. The certification I have right now isn't exactly accredited, which means I can't really get in a gym with it. So if I get this certification, that means I'll probably be able to find myself in a gym somewhere and start doing the real thing, if need be. And then Thursday, I have a meeting to see if I land an internship with as a copy editor. I won't divulge too much information because I don't know if they want me to be sharing it just yet, but we're going to have a nice discussion to see if there's an internship open for certain people on Thursday. And yeah, talking to a few clients today. Oh yeah, final word. Other than this will be on the newsletter's coming out, and there are at least 2 new pieces plus this video included in the newsletter. Um, and I might write another one. We'll see if I have time today. But the name changed. The 14-day transformation kickstart for beginners. Yeah. We're still looking for applicants, especially if you're a male. So if you've maybe been slacking off on your New Year's resolution or something, holler at me because we're beta testing this for free. And by we, I mean me. And I'm looking to get 6 people. I already have 3 females and 1 or 2 males. So I need at least 1 or 2 more guys to round out this group. 2 weeks. Highly individualized, which it is. I found a way. It made me feel somewhat uncomfortable to even do a general program like this anyway, but here's the deal. I'm making it a highly specific target group in the first place. You have to be a beginner, which means you don't have much strength training experience, um, and you have to be prioritizing fat loss, which means you have to be above a certain starting body fat percentage. So if you're gonna come to me like, hey bro, I want to gain weight, this is not really for you. We could talk about doing that in a coaching program, but this is for mostly specializing in fat loss. So anyone who needs to shed a few extra pounds, um, and if you're new to the gym, this will get you going. It's really based on building habits, making the hard stuff easier, and the easy stuff like it's just so easy to go to McDonald's and make that shit harder. Because that's sustainable. If you notice, the things you do every day are probably highly reflective of the path of least resistance for most people. It's easy to watch TV. It's easy to, you know, cook whatever pre-made boxed up food is in the freezer, or eat ice cream. It's easy to do all that stuff, and it's rewarding. You get a like dopamine reward. Um, you could completely 180 your preferences and your daily habits if you just give a little effort and and work on creating a framework that makes things habitual instead of if you train infrequently or you eat well infrequently, by comparison to the rest of your life, that's going to seem like, shit, that sucks. Um, so the key is to eventually push toward a framework where that's the norm. Like I said, for me, I eat a relatively short rotation of food. I eat 3 times a day every day. I haven't messed up my diet in 7.5 weeks now. Um, you get to sleep at a certain time, you wake up at a certain time. It all becomes like, okay, this is just the way it is. It's not, oh man, I got to go to bed early, or oh man, I got to eat this. Like, no, it becomes enjoyable because when doing it, you see the results you get from it, which is just a feedback loop for itself. So that's what I'm trying to encourage with this program. That was a long-winded way of saying we're teaching and we're building habits in these 14 days, and it will also allow you to get a really good um, jump on progress. Like I said, it's a kickstart. You're not going to lose 100 pounds in 14 days. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But there's a series of calculators and whatnot that standardizes the program to you, and you'll use those calculators once a week, so twice total. Um, so yeah, if you guys want to jump on, there's an application on my Facebook page, my company Facebook page, and the TailorMade Fitness Community Facebook page, all over Facebook. So hop on that application, and especially if you're a male, and also this won't be free for long. I'm going to, after this beta test group, be fixing it again and charging for the 2-week period. So hop on in if you want to get in on this hot fire. Yeah, that's about it. Busy week. Hopefully full of progress again. And let me get out of your hair so I can go talk to these clients. And I will see you soon, or maybe next week. All right, guys.